Hello, yet again. It's Excalibur, and I am bringing you some team deathmatch on Grid. I know I said I'd never post any more Black Ops or something like that, but I thought I'd take the time, seeing as I got into a little match here with some friends. A couple people from the clan just decided to do some Black Ops because it was a sort of thing we haven't done for a while. And pretty much the only time I like playing this game is with people I know. Um, it's better as a team. It's more fun. I obviously don't play it on my own, so I figured, well, okay, I can handle a couple games. The only thing is, when we actually do play this game, we get about 4 or 5 games in, and that's kind of it. I kind of realized that recently because a couple of us did. But the one thing I kind of noticed, and I wanted to talk about a little bit briefly, was a recent patch that came out for the game. Now, the only thing is that after this patch came out, obviously it had the new maps in it, but it also created a bit of an issue, I'd say. That issue being the fact that hit markers are a lot different now in this in Black Ops PC. I'm not sure what they did with it, but they didn't really improve it all that much. Some people might say they did. In some cases, it'll take you a full clip to down somebody. In other cases, it seems like the reticle is not directly on the enemy player. You'll see that coming up here shortly when this guy comes running in. See where I'm aiming? Technically speaking, from what I've seen, and I'm recording this from theater mode, but actual in-game, from what I've seen, is a little bit different. I'm pretty much right on the guy, or pretty much on his shoulder or something, I think it was. But yeah, just adjustments, and I'm not sure what's going on, but well, I don't know. I'm not playing a whole lot of Black Ops, so I'm not really concerned about it. But I wanted to talk about something a little bit different, something of a recent event, and something that's kind of annoying as well too. Recently, I got a notice from my credit card company. Apparently, my account was compromised. And there's a bunch of charges on there, and they're being denied to the tune of about $1,300 or so. So it's quite a lot of money. And this is only within like one day. This is actually happening. So it's something I remember dealing with before with another credit card company years back. But it's been quite some time before I've actually had to deal with any of this stuff. But yeah, it's an adventure. But basically, what they did, they just shut the card down, and there's no further transactions to be used. Obviously, it's pretty much basic stuff. But the only thing is, and the part that I'm trying to figure out is like what I did and where. Like, I spend my time that if I do any transactions on the computer, because obviously this is from online transactions, people can pick that information up. I haven't used it in buying a whole lot recently that I can remember. As I take this guy down right in front of me. But there's some purchases that are made around Christmas time, or maybe thereafter, where there's a bunch of things on Steam, like a bunch of games on Steam that were, reasonably priced. So, you can get them for like $4 or $5 or something like that. So I thought, all right, well, no big deal. I'll make my purchases. But you know what I found after I did this is the fact that it actually left my PayPal account wide open. And something to be aware of if any of you guys are making purchases through PayPal. But I think it's the one area that I remember off the top of my head where I was making purchases, because I don't really do a whole lot online that way. I try to use as many secure channels as I possibly can. I make sure that I have, secure encryption enabled as well too. So when I log into places, it's up there. What I mean by that is when you see HTTPS on your URL, that means you have a secure shell, or it's a loosely explained term, I guess you can sort of say. What that actually does is it actually encrypts your connection to the login session, but it doesn't actually encrypt the actual traffic on that login session. So what actually is happening what I picked up from this whole experience is that when I logged in somewhere, and if I'd actually used that HTTPS security, I was all right. But if it got beyond that, if the session was, say, left open, then maybe somebody can pick up some of the traffic off that. There are ways to get around it. There is a program out there called Tor. It's called the Tor project. It's pretty easy to kind of depict, and if you Google it, you can check it out. And basically what that does is actually secures all the traffic to and from your PC. So if you have it enabled running on your computer, it acts like a proxy. Basically all the traffic gets filtered through it, and it's all encrypted. So just because you log in someplace with HTTPS security, it doesn't necessarily say that your actual information is being secured. what it actually does with the Tor project, it actually encrypts everything that goes to and from the service as well too. So a little bit of protection is always kind of a nice little feature, but when you're actually ordering out of Steam, that's not enabled. There's nothing really enabled by default. So things like running security on your own personal computer is actually a really imperative, essential. So if you guys have have any security issues whatsoever, if you had like family or people as well too who've run into the same sort of problem, but using the Tor project as well too, there's a Tor applet I believe in Firefox you can actually use, so it enables it and disables the actual service. So things like that, if you have Firefox, like I said, or I suggest as your default browser as opposed to Internet Explorer, chances of you actually having I guess more secured traffic as well too is pretty handy. We all kind of work for our money as well too. We all have well, we want to do our part as well too to ensure that the money we have to spend is well secured. So that's the end of my commentary. Just a little quick recap of what's been happening recently. Like I said, Black Ops, I went 9-9 here. Everybody else on my team went negative, so that's that. Cheers.